Okay. All right. So let's dive right in. How long have you been in real estate now?
I have been in real estate. This is my fourth year.
Okay. And what inspired you to get into real estate?
I actually did not want to get into real estate at all. So
Yeah.
I started as a personal assistant for a real estate broker, and I did that throughout high school, college. I was doing it part-time. I was a marketing assistant. I did marketing. I was the director of agent services at Keller Williams for a little bit. And I observed how the most successful agents at the time were super overworked and were kind of stretching themselves super thin. And I just wasn't interested in doing it. And then COVID happened. I got laid off from my full-time job. I was doing interior design work. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have a backup plan. Nobody's hiring. Like there was a huge hiring freeze.
Yeah.
And I did have knowledge of real estate. So that's when I got licensed. But honestly, I love it and I never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, you're an entrepreneur and it's a very entrepreneurial job. It's not a 9 to 5. It's 100% commission based. I saw on your Instagram that it says entrepreneur. Do you do other things besides real estate?
So I do social media marketing for other agents. I also do I have digital courses teaching agents how to use social media to grow their business. And right now I'm also launching a new course, I think next month it should be teaching agents how to double their income while working half the hours. And it's all about outsourcing and leveraging.
Nice. Yes. It's all about marketing nowadays. It's all about social media. I'm sure that you get a lot of leads through Instagram and Facebook, don't you?
100% of my leads are from Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, I've
Really?
never paid for
100%.
a lead. I don't cold call. I don't door knock. Everything comes directly from social media, and whatever doesn't is really just a past client or a referral.
So how did you get so many followers? I know you have a lot of followers. How did you get there?
I have to be honest, I was stuck at like 7,500 for a really long time.
Mhm.
But even when I had somewhere around that number, around 7,000, I was still getting 100% of my leads through Instagram. So it's not necessarily about the number of followers that you have. It's really the relationship that you have and the content that you're putting out and teaching them things and offering value and teaching them how to tips and tricks and down payment hacks and mortgage hacks and things like that. And it puts you as the professional. So when they look at you, people that they look at you as the neighbor, they look at you as their cousin. You have to reframe their perspective to be the professional real estate agent. And it takes time to do that, but social media speeds up that process.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that, once you have more followers, maybe people will take you a little bit more seriously. And like also the more years you have in the job, people maybe tend to take you more seriously. So tell us about your very first year. First year is usually the hardest. Tell us about your first year.
I finished the year with just under 10 million in production. I think
Wow.
7.5 at another 1.5 that was pending.
Wow.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I had a good year.
Wait,
I learned a lot. It was a lot of trial and error. I think that it also was at a time, I think it was 2020 or 21. And social media obviously has always been around, but at that time, that's when Instagram was just starting to become for businesses. People weren't really monetizing it, they weren't really getting leads from it.
mhm.
So people thought I was crazy for like posting videos and using that as a source because it kind of didn't exist as a source at the time. But it obviously started to work and it picked up traction. And now, I help other agents learn how to do it. The ones that call me crazy are the ones that are asking for the help.
I see your dog in the background. What kind of dog is
My
that?
cat climbing on my kitchen
Oh,
counter.
it's a cat. Okay, it's blurry. Cute cat. So in your first year, did you put money into ads?
No. So I did my first 6 months in the business. I did start on a team. I think that's so important
Yeah.
just to learn hands-on the background of the business, the paperwork. Like you need someone to help you get your feet on the ground and have open houses to host. And I was doing marketing her listings and pretending they were mine. Not pretending, but like I was posting it saying this is just listed.
Uh-huh.
And people assumed it was my listing just because I was promoting it. So what that helped do is again speed up that process of skipping the beginner stage with no transactions because it was looking like I had transactions. I was hosting open houses every weekend. I was out there, promoting these things. And so the perception of it was that I was doing more than I was doing and making the money I wasn't making. But again, it's marketing and it's how you present that online. And I was gaining clients through that, buyers reaching out to me asking about those listings. I was posting it in Facebook groups and stuff like that, but I wasn't paying for any leads. I did spend a lot of money on a team split that year, I will say that. But it was definitely an investment and it was worth the knowledge that I gained
Yeah.
to be able
Huh.
to leave that team. And then I started my own team within 2 months after that.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's really, really hard to just be by yourself without any sort of team and any sort of mentor. So you broke away from, and now you're a team leader.
Yeah.
How is that like?
So I wasn't looking to form a team.
Mhm.
I wound up leaving the brokerage that I started at. I was on a team there for 6 months, and then I just realized the fees were too high. They weren't teaching me what I wanted to know in terms of
Huh.
how to grow my business online. There
Mhm.
was nobody there that was doing that. So again, this was when social media just started. So everybody was teaching you door knocking, cold calling. I wasn't interested in that. That's not what I wanted to learn. So once I learned the fundamentals, I was like, I want to go to a more modern company where I can just learn how to grow in the way that I want to expand my business. And when I did that, other agents reached out to me and they saw what I was doing and they were interested in learning more about it. And I was doing a lot of kind of coaching and hand holding with them that the team kind of just naturally formed itself. And now we have 10 agents. We're in New York and Florida. Most of those agents have been with me since I formed it 3 years ago. So my
Wow,
first year in the business, I ended the year with a team of 3 agents.
nice. Wait,
Yeah,
you said your first year?
my first year.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'm assuming that you split commissions with the team. So what exactly do you provide the team? What do you provide them?
So I do things a little bit differently. A lot of team leaders and a lot of team agents join a team for leads. And I get that because if you don't know anybody, you're in a new market, you've never done this before, you need leads.
Right.
I don't give my team leads. I teach them how to get their own leads. So, like, I'll teach them what to post, when to post it, how to farm a market, how to set people up on email blasts, prospect matches, subscriptions, ways that you can get business naturally without paying for it. But the reason why I do that is because I don't want to handicap my team members. If somebody wants to leave my team, whether it's been 6 months or 3 years, I don't want them to not know how to get business at that point. And that's what happens when you join a team and you're getting fed Zillow leads because, yeah, you learned how to close them, but you didn't learn how to get them because they were just getting handed to you. And realistically, when you want to become an independent agent, Zillow, you're looking at thousands of dollars a month. It's unaffordable if you haven't been closing deals before that and have money saved to do it. And a lot of them don't convert because you've never met these people. It's a cold call. You know, they're good if you have the time to pour into it, but things like social media, those people close with you. Like I get DMs every day, list my home, help me buy something. I don't have to do listing appointments. I don't do buyer appointments. They want to work with me because they know that I can get the job done and they trust my value. So I get to skip that step of the conversion. And that's what I teach my team to do. So I do provide, open houses for my listings. They collect all the buyer leads from that. Other than that, I really just teach them how to get their own business. We do a lot of calls on marketing and social media and trainings on just different ways that they can grow and expand and use the team branding to back it up and the resources we give them in terms of like technology and things like that. But I do not provide leads.
So you're pretty much a mentor.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you mostly attract newer agents,
hmm
and then after maybe their first year or two, they might want to break away because now they're trained. Is that correct?
So what's funny is that has been the case with traditional models. And I know the first brokerage I worked at, there was a frustration with that agents kind of learned what they needed from you and then they left and there was
Mhm.
no ROI.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen that with my team because the way that I structure it is on a sliding scale. So the agents that start with me brand new have a higher split than the agents that have closed 2 or 3 deals already. Because after you close 2 or 3 deals, you know, start to finish how the transaction works.
Yep.
You understand the process, you need less hand holding. So I reduce the split at that point. And then after they do 10 transactions and they're a more advanced agent, they need less resources from the team. I reduce that team split again. So
Mm.
it gives you motivation to work up to something. It's like getting a promotion. So I've noticed with something like that, and they have goals to work forward to look forward to and to work towards, it helps keep people, it retains agents because if everybody has the same split and then exactly like you said, they feel like they're not getting value for it anymore. They learned things already. They don't need you as much
Mhm.
and you're still paying the same amount of money. That's when you run into issues. And what's also great with my brokerage is we have a cap. So after you pay the company a certain amount from your commissions, you cap out and you're on 100% commission the rest of the year. If you're on a team, that's split in half. So instead of, I'm on a full cap because I'm a team leader, my cap is $12,000. Once I pay the company $12,000 for the year out of my split, I don't pay them anything else for the remainder of the year. So realistically, I cap out in 2 months, 10 months, I'm not paying the company anything. And now my agents are only have to pay the company $6,000 a year, and then they
Wow.
cap out with the company split. So there's not only benefits for the sliding scale of commission, which helps retain agents, but also the fact that they have a half cap, which automatically saves them $6,000 a year compared to if they were an independent agent. Plus, they get the accountability, they get the mentorship, they get the marketing materials. It's worth it for a lot of those agents to stay on the team.
And which brokerage are you with?
I'm with Real.
So I'm assuming that all of the agents on your team have to be with Real, I'm assuming.
Correct. But what's great about it is that it's a virtual brokerage. So for my agents in New York versus in Florida, it's the same exact thing. The team is in the same place. Everything is online. So we have one app for everything where all of our transactions, our paperwork, our stock, our revenue share from the company, everything is on an app. So I can do that from any state. You could be licensed in 50 states, all of them. You could
Yeah.
be selling in all 50 of them. You're only paying the company one time. There's no
Wow.
monthly fee. So there's no overhead expenses. So it's really a great option, not only for the new agents, but for the seasoned agents. And like I said, it helps retain people because there's so many different ways to earn money at the company. Plus there's incentives for being on a team.
I bet there are people on your team that you never even met face to face yet. Is that true?
No, everybody on my team I've met face to face. I do make it a point to like go meet with them because I think that's so
Uh,
important.
yeah.
There's people that are with me in my organization at the company that like joined the company under me. I sponsored them, but they're independent agents. Some of those I will admit I haven't met face to face, but
Okay.
I still try to help them as much as possible.
That's okay. Everything's online nowadays. So
Everything.
if you're a team leader, why not just open you up your own brokerage and be a broker?
So I've been asked this before, and honestly, I just never had any drive to do so. I feel like number one, you have no name brand or company behind you. And I don't think the company is super important. I think people hire you as a person, they don't hire a company. But at the same time, that company gives you the technology, they give you the CRM, they give you an email, they give you a website, they give you trainings, and you're able to collaborate with other agents across the country that are doing these online trainings with the virtual brokerage that I would have to masterminds and reach out and make those connections and get them, have a schedule for that. And then pay out of pocket for technology. The CRM that we use Lofty. If you sign up for that independently, not even as a broker owner, just an independent agent, it's $500 a month. We get
Yep.
it for $40 a month with the
500 a month.
brokerage.
Wow.
It's something insane like that. And if you're a broker owner, obviously you're paying for all these agents. Agents are going to want signs, they're going to want business cards, they're going to want low splits, they're going to want all these incentives, and you're going to have to provide a lot to give back to them. Where, like, yes, I have a team and I do provide marketing materials and things like that, but the company is backing me to provide everything else on the back end, which is great because your processes and systems are so important. The Digi sign that we use, the app that we have, and like the company, we're able to earn stock. The
Mm.
company matches our stock. The company gives
Wow.
us stock every time we bring a new agent to the company, every time we
Wow.
close a deal, every time we cap out. So we're earning money in three different ways. The revenue share, you bring an agent to the company, you're getting paid 5% of all of their commissions from the company split. It doesn't come out of the agent's pocket,
Hmm.
but because you help the company grow, they give you more money for that. So you earn passive income every month. You get a direct deposit every month with additional money. And, that I right now have 30 agents in my organization. I just moved over to the company 6 months ago.
Wow.
So when people hear about it and they hear about all these other streams of
Hmm.
income, an independent broker owner can't offer something like that. They can't, they're not going to have a publicly traded company where you can earn stock. And the stock has tripled since I joined in
Hmm.
6 months. So it's an investment. Like that's your savings plan. You can have a dependent on there if you have children and pass that down to them. Same thing with the revenue share. Again, you're earning passive income every month. And if you think about it this way, if you were to spend $60,000 to buy a cheap investment property, 250,000 or something like that. Your rent roll, let's say your profit, it's not going to be 1,500 a month. You're looking at maybe 400 a month or 300 a month. You're going to need how many properties to have a passive income of 1,500 a month? Five properties. You're going to have to shell out down payments for all of those, manage tenants on all of those, out-of-pocket expenses. I'm earning at least 1,500 a month in passive income from the company just for bringing agents on. I don't have to buy five investment properties. That's something that continues growing and puts money in my pocket month over month. So if you look at it that way, I don't feel like I would be able to provide the things my company is providing my agents.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a lot less overhead being a team leader as opposed to a broker. So
Yeah.
let's get back to the Florida, New York thing. What inspired you to be dual licensed?
So I moved, but I wanted to get licensed down here at some point anyway, and then I wound up relocating down here. I actually didn't get a license at first. I was like a couple months because my business in New York was still growing and thriving, and my team was there. And then I did get licensed down here. I expanded my team a little bit. Now I'm working on growing the team a little bit more in Florida. But for the last 2 years, I've really been doing so I'm in Florida 75% of the time, but 75% of my business is in New York.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was able to, I have connections. I have people that I know in New York. I was born and raised in Queens. So everybody I know from elementary school, middle school, high school, jobs that I had, networking events, I kept that business. I kept it going as strong as possible. And I kept promoting that I was doing business in New York, even though I wasn't physically there. So I lost a few deals in the beginning because people were like, oh, I thought you moved. I didn't know you were still selling here. And then I was like, okay, I'm not losing another dollar. Like I'm going to make it known. And that's how I used my social media to make it known that, yes, I'm in Florida, but my team is still in New York. I'm still boots on the ground. I'm still getting the job done. I'm still flying in when I have to. If I get a listing, I have teams that are marketing it. All 10 of us are marketing one listing. So it's getting seen by 10 times the amount of people and 10 times the amount of exposure. They're doing open houses every single weekend. Like we're never missing a beat, like it's still super involved. I'm on the phone with my clients every day. So whether I'm there physically or not, the team has definitely helped leverage that so I can be able to grow down here. And I will say all of my business in Florida really comes from New York. It's either New Yorkers or New York agents that are referring it to me. And that's how I got started down here because I didn't know a single person in this entire state. So
Wow.
I was starting completely from scratch. So I was like, you know what? I might as well tap into the people that I know already, which are in New York. And a lot of New Yorkers, they're snowbirds or they have investment properties or they own other properties down here in general. So that's what's helped me really get started with in a new market.
Yeah, I feel like New York and Florida kind of go hand in hand because number one, they're not too far. The plane ride's like 3 hours. And also a lot of people move from New York to Florida or they come in the wintertime when it's freezing. So you said you were born in Queens. Which part of Queens were you?
I'm from Howard Beach.
Oh, okay. That's pretty close to me. I'm in Floral Park. And which part of
Okay.
Florida are you in?
I am in Palm Beach County now, so I do Palm Beach and Broward County. So like everywhere from West Palm, Boca, Fort Lauderdale.
You ever been to Cross Bay Diner in Howard Beach?
Yeah, so it's a few blocks away from my house.
Yeah, I love that diner. I was there a few months ago. So when you got licensed in Florida, you had to start from scratch. You had to take the test again. You had to
Yep.
go through the whole process, and then obviously you joined the same brokerage. So then you had to pay the brokerage fees again. Is that correct?
So with the virtual brokerage, I literally did not have to do anything except submit my new license number. I didn't have to pay anything additional except obviously the MLS dues down in Florida. That's always going to be something separate from your brokerage. But other than that, there's no monthly fees at the company for either state. So I'm not paying anything month over month. There's an annual fee that's broken up over your first three transactions, but it's three transactions no matter what state it is. So I can close two in New York, one in Florida, and that adds up to my annual fee for the year. And what's great for my new agents is that if you don't close anything, you don't pay anything. So for new agents that haven't closed anything all year, that annual fee is not due at the end of the year. They just don't pay it. So they're literally holding their license at a company and gaining the knowledge and experience and aren't paying a single penny for it until they make money. So that's huge because no other company structures it that way.
Interesting. Yeah, that must have been annoying though to take the test again to start over, but I'm sure you passed the first time.
Yeah, I did, but the biggest difference is just that it's not an attorney state down here. They use title companies. Once you figure that out, the differences between New York, then I mean everything is pretty basically the same. That was the biggest difference between the states.
So New York and Florida are different in many ways. Obviously one is a pretty blue state and one is a pretty red state. What is it like working in New York versus working in Florida? What is the difference?
The biggest difference, which is the best difference for me, is that usually slow season in New York is hot season in Florida and vice versa. So, like in the winter when it's freezing in New York, nobody wants to go to open houses. They're not out looking for properties.
Mm.
That's when it's busy down here because it's cold up north. So everybody from north comes south to look for properties. They're like, I'm
Huh.
sick of snow. I'm coming down here to find something. I need to seasonal depression. Like I need some sun. I need the vitamin D. So it's been great because again, like summers down here is it's too hot. Everybody's traveling. That's busy season in New York. So I go to New York and I spend it there. So I'm kind of going back and forth. My family's still in New York. So it works out really well for me in terms of being able to like flip-flop between both. I think if it was busy season at the same time in both states, I would probably have a little bit more of an issue with that. But so far, so
Hmm.
good in terms of being able to manage. I will say in terms of the transactions itself, the biggest difference is the time frame because we have attorneys in New York, everything takes so long and title takes so long to get back and you're looking at 3 to 4 months to close, especially with a co-op, forget it, it can be 6 months.
Yep.
Whereas in Florida, everything closes, cash closes in 2 weeks. A regular transaction is 30 days or 45 days. So you get paid a lot quicker while things are still pending in New York. I mean, I had something last year, it took 8 months to close in New York.
Why is it so much faster in Florida?
There's just attorneys really delay the process. I think when you submit an offer in New York, you're submitting an offer form. So
Hmm.
there's negotiations after that. Then the info sheet has to go to the attorney to write up the contract. There's a lot more steps. Whereas in Florida,
Hmm.
there's no offer form. You're submitting the actual contract. You, as the agent, are writing the contract and submitting it. If the seller thinks it looks good and accepts it, they sign it. You're automatically in escrow. You
Hmm.
go leave the escrow deposit. So that process is a lot quicker. For some reason, title is a lot faster.
Hmm.
The mortgage people know they have to move quicker because everything else is moving quicker. So they get the job done in ample time. But that's really been the biggest difference. I was surprised by that as well when I moved down here because even cash in New York really takes 45 days just because of title.
So it sounds like being licensed in Florida, it sounds a little bit better than being in New York in many ways, no?
I will say the one downside is that everybody has a real estate license in South Florida.
Okay.
Everybody you meet, like I'm at a birthday party talking to the parents, and out of three people, two of them have a real estate license. So
Yeah.
the competition is higher. That's another reason why when I was starting from scratch, I tapped into New York and the people I knew there because they already know me, like me, and trust me instead of going up against these locals that have been selling real estate in the local market and living down here for a lot longer than I have. So that's something that's definitely helped me leverage that.
Do you view other realtors as competition?
No. And that's what I love about my company as well, is that with a virtual brokerage, and this was the biggest difference I started, like I said, at Keller Williams, and I'm not
Hmm.
bashing them by any means, but it's a traditional company. And the problem with that is when you're in a physical office in a market center, the trainings are being taught by the top five agents, the ALC members in that office. So when they're on repeat with teaching you things, you're maxing out your potential of knowledge really quickly. I felt like after my first 6 months, I was like, okay, I already learned everything I can from these people. They taught me what they're doing,
Mhm.
and that's it. With a virtual brokerage, our trainings are taught by different agents every day. They're taught by agents all across the country. Like if I'm driving to an appointment at 7 p.m., it's only 4 o'clock in California. There's like even at 10 o'clock at night, there's always a training going on because everybody's in a different time zone. You're talking about people that are the top agents in Texas, the top agents in Virginia. They're going to teach you everything they know to go implement it because you're not their direct competition. They're in a completely different market. So they can give you all their secrets. They're not worried about you implementing it and stealing their business because it's not physically possible. When
Mhm.
you're in a brick and mortar office, those agents, they're going to teach you just enough because that's what they're there to do so that you don't ask too many questions, but they're not going to teach you their secrets. They're not going to teach you everything they did to grow their business to where it is because you're going to go implement it and you're going to do it and you're going to take their business. You're in the same market. That's when it gets competitive.
Right.
So honestly, for me, I feel like virtual brokerages took the competitiveness out of the business completely. And I really don't feel that way at all. Like we collaborate, we're bouncing ideas off of each other. It's a very different dynamic.
Do you have an office?
There's offices that we can go work out of. There's like business suites. There's a lot of networking events. Some people do open physical offices, like there's a real in Massapequa. But for the most part, I was never working in the office anyway. I was paying desk fees for an office I never went into. It
Mhm.
takes so much time for me to drive there, get settled, drive back. You wind up bullshitting with all the people in the office. You're not actually getting work done. So honestly, it took a lot of time away from my business to be traveling to and from a physical office. And realistically, I never met my clients in an office. Like the listing appointment you're doing at the listing, you're going to see it, you're sitting
Yeah.
down with the owners.
Yeah.
And when it comes to buyers, I'm
Mm.
meeting them at the property. I do a virtual consultation with them if I have to,
Yeah.
and then I meet them on the first appointment at the first house we're going to look at.
Yeah,
So
I
what do
mean,
you need the office for it,
it's true. I mean, the last time I went into the office, I don't go too often, but the last time I went in was just to print some paperwork. So I definitely see your point. So Grace, walk us through a normal day in your shoes. What time do you wake up, coffee or tea? Walk us through a normal day.
I'm definitely coffee all the way. I'll have like three a day. I can't survive.
Black, black, regular, French vanilla. What flavor?
I do like a little flavor in there. I cut back sugar. I went from two spoonfuls to one, so we're making
Okay.
progress.
Okay.
But I have a 7-year-old, so I wake her up at like 7. She goes off to school. So by 8 o'clock,
Mm.
I already had my cup of coffee and I'm getting ready. I go to the gym. I feel like going to the gym in the morning, it gets your brain going, it gets your body going, it motivates you to get through the rest of the day.
Seven
And
days a week, Jim?
I try to go 4 or 5 days a week.
Wow.
So really my weekdays look like that. Then I have my daughter on the weekends. It's more difficult to do that. So I
Yeah.
do it on the weekdays. And again, it gets your brain going. So I like doing it before starting my work day. Um, Mondays, I really jam pack with all my meetings. So I'll do my team meeting every Monday. We have a mentorship meeting every Wednesday night. Other than that, it's just following up with my database. I have a VA, so I'm sitting down with my virtual assistant, going over what's going to get done for the week, what emails are going out, updating the website, updating any listings, following up with clients. But I kind of just do all of that from home and then I'm going out on appointments.
So this sounds like a 7 days a week sort of thing, no?
I have to be honest, this year I have worked less than I ever have, and I doubled my GCI so far, and we still have a few months left of the year. And I really got comfortable with paying people and hiring people so I can focus just on sales. So I'm not doing all the admin stuff. I'm not doing the transaction. I'm not doing the paperwork. I'm not doing the social media post. I'm not doing the email blast. I pay people to do that. I have a virtual assistant who's fantastic. She does all the background stuff. She onboards the new agents that I have. She does all the posting. She does all of the marketing. We do a 12-month flyer mail out campaign for my team. She creates that and sends it over to them. Like we give her the ideas and she implements. So that's been a huge time saver. And then we also have a transaction coordinator. So we get the business, we get the contract done, and then they do everything else. They coordinate the inspection, the appraisal, they do the paperwork, they get everything signed and uploaded. And then once everything's in there, we get direct deposit when it closes. So there's no driving to and from to get a check. There's no, oh, there's an initial missing on this lead paint. Like it's all done.
Mhm.
And that's given a huge ROI there. So it's just taken a lot off of my plate where like I'm really not doing anything except onboarding new agents, helping them grow their businesses, um, focusing on like my database and just getting new business.
So it sounds like you're more focused on your team and helping your team as opposed to prospecting and finding new clients and running around you're more focused on your team. Is that
I
correct?
am more focused on the team, but you always need to prospect, otherwise your business is going to flop. So I
Mm.
just do more prospecting online, like I'm just
Huh.
following up with my past clients, my leads, my database. I'm doing social media posts that are
Huh.
attracting those people, following up with my messages on there because that's where all my business comes from. So like on a daily basis, I am prospecting. It just looks a little bit different. I'm just on my phone. But
So
it's
if you got a new listing, would you be the listing agent or would you pass it off to one of your team members?
So I'm the listing agent. I come up
Hmm.
with the marketing plans, the video concepts, the execution for everything. And then I have my team really take over when it comes to buyers because they're there physically. So they'll go on showing appointments with buyers. So sometimes I do split my buyer clients with a team member. We'll do a 50-50.
Nice.
I'll do the background stuff. I built the relationship. I'm bringing the client to the table. I help with the negotiations and everything like that, but they're boots on the ground in terms of all of the showings and, the things that we need to physically be present for. So I love splitting those with my team members because I'm able to walk them through the transaction with one of my clients and they're making money on it and I'm still making money on it. So everybody's happy. But when it comes to listings, I just let them collect any buyer leads that come in from that. I let them run Facebook ads for it. I teach them how to promote it to get new buyers, and I have them do the open houses and collect buyers from that as well.
So I've heard several different agents this year complain about the market and basically say like, I haven't made many sales this year and the market's been really down. How would you respond to those agents?
I think a house is a necessity. Like people always need a place to live. Somebody's always going to be buying something or selling something. I think it really doesn't matter what the economy is doing. I think it doesn't really matter what the rates look like. I think it doesn't really matter what the buyer agreement laws change to. I think there's always people that have a necessity to buy or sell. They may not be doing it at this point like they were during COVID, just buying for the hell of it because the rates were so low. But there are always people, always business. There's still for sale by owners out there. There's still people that are underwater on their mortgages. Like people need to move. They get a job change. They want their kid in a different school district. The opportunity is there. And I think if you have a scarcity mindset and you're like, oh, and you're using all these excuses for why you're not going to get business,
Yeah.
that's like that energy is given out into the world and you're not going to attract any business. Like I'm just attracting business at this point because I know that there's an abundance of it. It's just a matter of getting in front of those people. So if you're putting out content that's showing that people are still buying and selling, they want to work with an agent that's still actively helping their clients buy and sell. If you're not posting about it or talking about it, they assume you're not doing any business. They're assuming that, nobody wants to work with you. You have to present it and you can't sell a secret. And I don't think we're salespeople, but you do have to sell yourself to get the business. And if you're not talking about what you do well and what your strong suits are and what, challenges you overcome, people don't know that about you and nobody else is going to promote yourself if you're not going to. So that's our job, is to market ourselves. And if you're doing that, I think you're always going to have business.
I think that every realtor needs to find some way to stand out in the business. Like these interviews help me stand out a little bit. But I think that a good piece of advice for a newer agent or for an older agent is, to find some sort of way to stand out in the business. Grace, what is your favorite thing about being a realtor?
My favorite thing is that you can be yourself and stand out in the business. I think it's actually a huge benefit to be authentic and show up as yourself. And people want to work with people. And I think back in the day, realtors were told, you all have to be in a suit and tie and you have to speak a certain way and you have to say certain things. And now, like, there's so much flexibility and people want to work with people. They want to relate to you. They want to, hear what you're doing and your stories and your challenges. And I think that it really connects with people on a deeper level. And like, I became such good friends with my clients. I love meeting new people through my job, and I really love what I do. And I love the flexibility that you can run a business completely different than the way that I do, and we can both be successful. Like, there's no cookie cutter solution to success in this business. That's why I love it so much, is because everybody's doing something different. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. We can always all do it in completely different ways and still be completely thriving. And more millionaires come from real estate than anything else. And the opportunity is just, it's uncapped.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about the job. Like the fact that there's no cap, there's no ceiling, there's no salary. It just, it's all on you. I love that concept of no ceiling. Grace, what is your long-term plan?
I don't know. And the reason why I say that is not because I don't have goals. It's because if I looked back 4 years ago to when I got licensed, I wouldn't even picture it looking like this right now. I had no idea I was going to build a team. I had no idea there were virtual brokerages where I can earn passive income and different multiple streams of income and grow my business in multiple states. I didn't know I was going to be doing what I was doing right now. And it's more and better than I ever could have envisioned it to be. So I try not to like envision something and kind of close off the opportunity for anything else. I think I'm going to keep growing and expanding in New York and Florida and keep sustaining both markets the best that I can. I think that I'm going to work more on like my coaching program. I mean, I've been coaching agents this whole time on my team, and I just want to open that up to more people and just continue teaching agents how to outsource and leverage. Because, like I said in the beginning, I didn't want to get licensed because I saw successful agents, but they were so overworked. And I feel like I kind of solved that problem by treating it like a business and outsourcing and leveraging to free up my time so that I can make just as much money as they were making and be just as successful. And I'm not draining myself to do it. Like, I have time to go to my kids' sport practices and I don't miss anything at school. And, I'm able to be fully present at home while still running a business and a team.
Grace, do you have any tips for new agents?
Just keep getting out there. You're not going to learn anything by sitting at home. Like, go to open houses, whether you're hosting it, ask other agents if you can host it for them. If not, just make sure every weekend, like, you're showing up at local open houses. You're learning the market. You're learning what the prices look like and what the condition is. You're building relationships with those agents. That's the first step, is really getting out there. I mean, going to things like that motivate you and seeing what's out there. Use that as content. Go to somebody's open house on Saturday, post it, ask the agent if you can post it to your story. Tell
Mhm.
people it's available, what price it is. Do a poll on your story. Are you looking to buy or sell this year? If they say yes, those are hot leads, then there are
Yes,
people that know you already. Like,
yes.
there's so much opportunity if you just put yourself out there, but you have to keep promoting yourself because, like I said, nobody's going to promote yourself for you.
Grace, where can people find you?
Instagram, my tag name is Grace.Folias, and TikTok, Facebook, I'm all over there.
I'll put all the links below. Grace, it was so nice talking to you. It was fun.
It was so nice talking to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good one, Grace. Take care.
Thank you.